When I was 17, I thought celebrating New Year's at the lake house would be unforgettable. I was wrong. The lake house had stood empty for years before my friends and I decided to rent it for New Year's Eve. On a frozen December night, we drove through winding roads, headlights cutting through mist. The house, old wood, narrow windows, and the echo of distant water looked like something out of a horror tale. Perfect for a party. Perfect for what came next. We had about 10 of us, cousins, school friends, a couple of older neighbors. There was booze, loud music, laughter, fireworks ready in backpacks. In the living room, a stone fireplace, dusty chairs, and a big table where we set snacks and drinks. Outside, through the windows, I could see the frozen lake shimmering faintly under the moonlight. At 11:45 p.m., we stepped outside for a quick toast under sky full of stars. I remember the sharp cold in the air, the smell of wood smoke, and when the countdown hit 0, fireworks crackled, some champagne popped, cheers echoed, people hugged. It was magical. Then, nothing. No wind. No sounds of the lake. The merriment felt hollow. Back inside, someone tried to play a horror story over Bluetooth from phone to set mood for a dare game. We laughed it off. I walked alone to the fireplace to pour another drink. I stared at the fire dancing, listening to the crack of wood, the laughter fading into background. That's when I heard the footsteps. Soft, on the wooden floor upstairs. Not loud, but deliberate. Like someone was pacing slowly, counting steps, maybe trying to decide something. I looked around, house full of people, music on. No one near the stairs. I shrugged, assumed one of my friends was messing around. I didn't check. By 1:15 a.m., most of us were drunk, but I'd stepped outside to get fresh air. Outside, the lake was silent. The snow barely made sound under my boots. I saw footprints on the ice near the shore. Someone had walked across. They led to an old half-submerged dock shack, then stopped. No return footprints. I felt uneasy, told myself it was prankers. I went back in. At 1:45 a.m., the power flickered once, then went out. Phones died. The house plunged into darkness, lit only by dying embers of fire in the fireplace and a few lit candles. Laughter died with the lights. The air turned cold, sharp. Door creaked upstairs. Not stairs, the attic hatch. Something shifted above, a low drip sound, like water falling on wood. My heart hammered. A friend, Sarah, asked for a flashlight. The beam caught something through the gloom. On the wall opposite the fireplace, near the window, there were scratch marks, vertical, ragged, long enough to be clawed. They hadn't been there before. We all froze. Then a whisper, so soft I thought I imagined it. "Leave." A breathy word coming from the attic hatch. We all looked at each other. Doors locked, no phones. Outside, frozen lake, dark woods. Another whisper. "Leave now." Someone ran to grab coats. I turned on my phone's flashlight and climbed the stairs 2 at a time. The attic door frame was thin wood. I pulled the latch. It groaned. I kicked it open hard. Inside, pitch dark. I pointed the light around. Nothing but stacked boxes, old lanterns, dust motes dancing in the beam. I shook my head, exhaling relief. I was about to descend when the light flickered, like someone passed close behind me. The temperature dropped. My breath came out in mist even though no windows were open. The flashlight trembled in my hand. I saw movement. A shape, hunched, too tall for human, bent silently over a trunk. I shouted, but sound vanished as if someone muted the room. The shape turned slowly. Eyes glowed, 2 pale orbs reflecting the flashlight. They didn't blink. They didn't close. They just looked at me, waiting, smiling. I dropped the flashlight. It cracked the floor. Light vanished. I felt cold hands grip my shoulder, heavy, clammy, slower than ice. A voice hissed into my ear. "Stay!" I ran, down the stairs, screaming now. Doors slammed. Friends ran with me, panic flickering like flames. Outside, the snow cracked under dozens of footsteps. The porch door swung shut behind us. We didn't stop, not until headlights of a car cut through the dark road and a friend's older brother pulled up. In the car, breathing hard, watching the house shrink behind through the rear windshield, I saw movement in a first-floor window. A tall, black silhouette watched us leave. It raised a hand slowly, like waving goodbye or warning. When we returned at dawn with more cars, the house was empty. Boxes untouched, fireplace stone cold. No footprints on the frozen lake except ours from arrival. Didn't find any trace of attic intruder. No claw marks outside, nothing on snow. But I never forgot that house. I never laughed about that night again. I unfriended some people. I deleted old photos. I don't speak about it. I don't want to summon what I saw again. Now, whenever New Year's comes, I don't celebrate. I don't party. I stay home with lights on. I think of those footsteps, the attic whisper, and the shape that waited in dark wood. I think maybe it isn't the fireworks that bring fear. Maybe it's the silence after them. Because I did not survive that New Year. A part of me stayed in that lake house, and every New Year's Eve, I remember. When I was 18, I thought spending New Year's at a remote cabin in the woods was harmless fun. I was dead wrong. I and 3 friends, Salim, Tara, and Vikram, rented a small log cabin nestled near a frozen forest lake. It was deep winter, snow thick on the ground, the lake glazed over like a cracked mirror, and the only road out buried under frost and ice. We arrived late afternoon on December 31st, lugging backpacks, firewood, snacks, and alcohol. The cabin's windows were frosted over, the wood cold under touch, but inside the firewood stove crackled, giving warmth and a false sense of safety. We laughed, made hot drinks, decorated the dusty old pine tree in the corner with fairy lights we brought along, and joked about horror movies. The kind of jokes you make when you're bored, drunk, and too comfortable. At 11:45 p.m., we stepped out onto the frozen porch for a toast. The sky was blank. No moon, no stars, only snow hung in the air like fine ash. We raised our drinks, counted down, and at midnight, the forest around us seemed to sigh. No fireworks, just the cold wind. We went back inside, lights on, music playing softly. Around 1:10 a.m., I dismissed a distant creak as the woods settling, but then Tara froze mid-sip, her eyes wide. She pointed at the frosted window. Outside, through the swirling snow, I saw a figure standing still between the trees at the edge of the clearing. Tall, gaunt, coat soaked dark from snow, head lowered. It held something, a lantern glowing dim red, small but enough for me to see the outline. For a moment, the world slowed. I blinked. When I opened my eyes, the figure was gone. We laughed it off nervously. Must be another cabin owner crossing the trail. But unease settled, sharp and cold. I locked all doors, we turned off lights except the stove fire. Music died. Silence wrapped the room. At 2:02 a.m., the lantern light flickered outside the window. Not far, close enough for picket fence close. The red light pulsed twice, then still. I peered, breath fogging the glass. I heard a soft tap against the outer wall. Tap. Pause, tap, almost like someone testing if the wood still held. Then a voice, slow and rough, low. "You forgot the fireplace." The door beside me rattled. I stood, paralyzed. We all stared. The fire stove crackled, logs shifting. The cabin felt smaller, darker. Salim reached for the door handle. I grabbed him. "Don't," I hissed. "Don't open it."
We huddled, blankets around our shoulders, breath visible in the air. Outside, silence. Inside, the old logs groaned. The tapping came again, now from the roof. Roof, as if someone walked above the ceiling. Soft thuds, light dragging, then a low drag on the porch. The board creaked under weight. I remembered the lake outside, frozen surface, thin in places maybe. What if someone walked across ice? No, but explanation didn't matter in that hour. The fire began to die. Logs smoldered but would not flame. Darkness pooled. In that freezing black, I heard footsteps on the stairs. Heavy, slow. The stairs that led to the attic room. We had locked it earlier. We had nothing there. But the steps came down, one by one. Creak, creak, creak. The door to the loft squealed. A lantern glow inside. Then the voice again, whisper thin. Warmth. The attic hatch thudded, like someone had slammed a weight onto it. The cabin walls vibrated. I felt the windows rattle. The lights flickered. My heart slammed. I grabbed Vikram's arm. A crash. The main window shattered inward. Cold wind. Snow sprayed inside like salt. Silence. Then, laughter. Soft and broken. Far away, but inside at once. It echoed off walls, floor, ceiling. High-pitched, then low. Shards of noise. We bolted, straight out into snow, barefoot, shirts thin, lungs burning. The world was white, trees motionless. The air felt thick. We didn't stop. We ran blindly toward where we thought the road was, slipped, fell, got up, ran again. Snow lashed cold against our faces. At 4:23 a.m., we stumbled onto what looked like tire marks in snow, car tracks, a pickup, old, lights off. Inside sat a lone figure in hood, head down. We pounded on windows. The figure didn't move. Then, with slow motion, he turned, face blank in shadow, red eyes glinting. He opened the door silently, got out, closed it after him. He didn't speak, he didn't run. He walked into the woods, vanished. We got in the truck and drove off. We never talked about the names we saw in that cabin. There were no names, only a shape that waited. I see the cabin from the road sometimes, its windows dark, snow empty around. I don't remember why we screamed, I just remember we ran. Now every New Year's Eve I stay home. I don't celebrate because I know some invitations are traps, some winter woods are better unvisited, and some lights outside windows are not meant to console, they are meant to wait.
When I was 19, I thought a midnight call on New Year's Eve would be just another prank. I was dead wrong. It was December 31st. My friends and I decided to spend the night at my uncle's old ancestral house, Kula isolated Lal Int Kamahal, door from city buzz, surrounded by sugar-white snow and dense pine woods. Snow had started falling that evening. Moon was hidden behind heavy clouds. The windows frosted over fast, and outside it sounded like a soft whisper of white. Inside, the house was warm, with a cracked wood-burning stove, dusty rugs, and the smell of old pine and damp old wood, perfect for a cozy, small New Year's gathering. We had 5 of us, me, Arjun, my friends Mira, Dave, Zara, and my younger cousin Rishab. We lit a small fire, put on soft music, and joked about horror movies while unpacking snacks. Around 11:50 p.m., we decided to call our other friends for a quick voice call celebration. We crowded around the phone, danced, laughed, counted down. At midnight, we shouted, "Happy New Year!" laughed together, and then suddenly, the phone died. Signal lost, screen went black. We thought maybe power flicker. We checked switches, electricity was fine. The phone just died. We shrugged, pretended it was nothing, drank, sang, tried to ignore the cold starting at the windows. Around 2:05 a.m., the radio in the corner, old transistor it was, crackled to life.
Scratchy hiss, then a voice, distant, distorted, drenched in snow static, the kind of voice you hear in nightmares. It said one word, "Open." The voice repeated in a low chorus. We turned toward the windows. Through the frosted glass, a shape pressed its face, mouth open, eyes dark hollows. I walked away, nearly falling. Rishab screamed. We banged at the front door, locked. We banged, hammered keys, tried to kick it open, but wood held firm. Outside, the snow was heavier. The breath on glass shook the frost like a hand brushing cold skin. Then came the silence. Just when we thought it was over, the lights flickered once. The lantern on the wall, old brass lamp, extinguished. The room plunged black. In the darkness, we heard footsteps climbing the stairs, slow, deliberate. The attic door creaked open above us. A scraping dragged across wood like nails against floorboards. Mira screamed. Dev fumbled for a flashlight. Nothing but the phone, and it was dead. Zara whispered a prayer. I didn't speak, I just listened. The slow, dragging steps came down the stairs. Pause. Then a soft, slow step into the hallway. And a whisper in our ears, not in the room, but in our minds. I never left. The temperature dropped, breath visible. The door shook, the house moaned. Then, suddenly, a loud crash on the roof. The sound of heavy wood giving, a crash like thunder. The walls vibrated, snow tumbled down the eaves, windows rattled, the front door jarred. We didn't wait. We ran out, into snow, barefoot, screaming, crying. The door slammed behind us as we fled. Outside, nothing. No footprints, no tracks from someone chasing, just snow and dark woods. We reached the car just as the first light of dawn seeped through cloud. The engine turned, the heater roared. We left the house behind. When we looked back, the silhouette stood in the frosted window. Pale face, black eyes, mouth open in a silent scream. The shape didn't move, just watched, until the smoke of the exhaust hit it. We never went back. We deleted the photos, we never spoke of it. But every New Year's Eve since, when phones die for a second, when you hear a soft ring in empty rooms, I think of that house, that call, that shape in the dark. I think some houses keep memories, and some houses keep presences. Because I carried that call with me, on every cold door at midnight, in every phone that rings alone. And sometimes, when the night is silent, I swear I still hear it.